Yeah, if I hit now, I'm also recording.
Awesome. All right. The show doesn't really have a name yet. Evan Munro Smith suggested Matt Chat.
Yeah, I think that was the working title you used with me when you were suggesting it. I like it, Matt Chat.
Matt Chat. I kind of hate it.
I think that's why I like it, because you hate it.
Okay. Well, that's the working title so far.
What about getting chatty with Maddie?
Okay, no, I'm getting warmer, I think. Getting chatty with Maddie. That's good stuff. We should probably start the show. I don't know how to start it yet. So let's just start it like this.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Hey, David Warneke. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here chatting with Maddie.
It's so good to have you as the first ever guest. There's no one I would have rather had as first guest of the show.
Thank you. How many other people did you request before you got down to me? Be honest.
You know, I could say a number, but what does that even mean, really? You know,
Okay.
10, 20, 30, they're all, it's all whatever. The real important number is the amount of people who said yes.
Which is?
One.
Number one of the people saying yes.
Yeah, that's you, Dave. You're my number one and only person to agree to do this. People are busy. People are busy right now. And
yeah, people with nothing happening, everyone's in lockdown, and people are still saying no to you.
So really, honestly, I just prefer not to be associated with you if it's all the same. But I really do appreciate coming on. It's a great excuse for me to have a drink because that's what I'm thinking. We don't get to see each other too much. I'm lucky I get to see you once a week doing these live Do Go On podcasts from.
That's been like a highlight of my week. Get to see people.
Yeah, just sharing a space with people. So nice. But it's also nice to be in my shed right now. And I'm. But I thought we'd share a drink. So I'm try to pick a beer to drink that somehow said Dave Warneke to me. So I've picked the Prancing Pony beer.
Oh, that's me.
That's the brewery. I've been to outside of Adelaide, but it's called the Piper, and there's something about this silhouette who just looks a little Dave Warneke to me.
And I also play the pipe.
You do. You're a piper. You're a musician. You played in a ska band for many years, called the Weed Hornets, and
I mean, it's so close.
Yeah, you played at Skarathon 1999.
It's not true. Is that a thing? Was Skarathon a thing?
Well, if it wasn't, it should have been. It would have.
It sounds like something that you would have gone to in 1999.
I would have for sure, and I would have had Area 7 headlining with the Porkers.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know. I think it thins out from there. Weed Hornets would have been there.
Oh yeah.
Look at this. How fancy is this? I got given a glass that is specifically designed for IPAs, which is what this is. It's got this sort of funky.
Whoa! What is that thing?
Yeah, isn't that nice? I mean, it's surely just a load of wank. Geez, how good's that pour? I think what the beer experts always say, you want to have the head as high as you've got the liquid part of the beer, and I think I've nailed that.
You won't be getting any liquid other than foam for about half an hour on that.
Yeah, this is a beer spider. Yum yum.
So what kind of beer? So it's an IPA.
It's a West Coast IPA. So the West Coast IPAs are the West Coast of America, and they're the probably like until a few years ago they were probably just called IPAs, American style IPAs. But then and I'm not an expert, so this is all going off like the small amount of knowledge I have. But the NEPAs, the New England IPAs became really popular, which are from the New England area of America, and they're quite cloudy, and they're different in that way. So then the other one became the West Coast one, which is probably the one I prefer, I think. Well, I like
is there some sort of East Coast, West Coast rap rivalry style thing where they do drive-bys and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it is pretty full on. Yeah. The brewers go past and throw cans through each other's windows. That's why I'm drinking tonight for some of my fallen comrades. You having a drink tonight?
I am having a drink, and I've gone with the West Coast OJ.
Okay.
You know about this?
The original Jankster.
the New England OJs are a lot cloudier than this.
Yep.
More of an apple juice.
Yeah, they keep the pulp in.
Yeah, for the West Coast, they're more traditional. They only include orange, no apple in their orange juice.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep, you've finally been able to compare apples and oranges juice.
I've done it.
You were the one.
I got to tell you, this is not my favorite orange juice though.
What have you gone with? That looks like
it's Black Label. Do you know that brand?
Yeah, I like Black Label.
That sounds top shelf.
Yeah,
but for me, I really prefer the nudie orange juice.
Nudies are good too. The Black Label, in its defense, I think when it was king, it was pre-nudies and all these sort of fancy orange juices. It used to be the top shelf Black Label.
During this pandemic, every time you go to the shops, there seems to be a different thing that's not available at the moment. And this weekend, it was nudie orange juice.
Yeah, it's been a real
finally
nudie orange juice panic.
Oh yeah, so I'm happy with that. I prefer the pulp. I do prefer a pulpy juice.
Yeah, I'm a pulp man as well. I mean, on occasion, maybe if I'm hungover or something, I'll like a dirty Spring Valley pulp free. It's sort of syrupy almost, made from concentrate, whatever that means.
Yeah, and it comes with a little fact on the inside of the lid.
A little fact, that's right. And they're always mind blowing. You got any little facts for us today?
It's usually stuff like a blue whale's heart is the size of a Toyota Corolla. Something like that.
Yeah. Toyota Corolla's paying the big bucks to get that fact in there.
Yeah, get it.
Associating themselves with the big whale heart. Got a heart the size of a Toyota Corolla. Yeah, that's a big compliment. Much like our frontline workers during the pandemic.
Heart's the size of a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, that's what people have been saying, and so they should be. So you're I don't know if you're lucky. You are lucky because your job, you have not lost your job like a bunch of people have, but it means that you have to still get out there in public every day, which is not the life I've been living. I've been bunkered down. I really only leave the house once a week, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Apart from, going around the block for a run or a walk or something. But yeah, what's it like living a normal life? Have you seen it change as you've been going out there?
Yeah, it totally does. So I work for The Project on Channel 10, which is like a news show. I do sort of the sillier part of the news.
It's like news, only different. That's how I'd explain it.
Thank you. No one's ever said that before. I should email it to the bosses, the big wigs.
Yeah.
But because it's a news show, like it's still going every night, 6 nights a week. So yeah, I am going to the office a bit more, but they've done a lot of good stuff. Like everyone's spread out and there's a lot of people working from home, but I am going in. But it is very different, like out on the street and stuff. And I definitely try and not leave the office at all. Like usually I, go for a walk, that kind of stuff. But if I don't bring in food from home for lunch, there's one cafe downstairs. So I go down and they know me very well now.
Yeah, right. How are they feeling? Just because the cases haven't really spiked in Victoria and they're slowed, I felt like when I have gone to the shops, people do feel more and more relaxed over the last couple of weeks.
Charlie, yeah, we were actually speaking about this yesterday when we were doing our live Do Go On stream, and you said that you'd been to the shops and it just felt a bit more relaxed. And then today I went and did some shopping, and it definitely did feel like more people are out and about. The groups were bigger. People are just, I don't know. And I do worry that people are maybe lapsing just a little bit too early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a worry that we're getting a bit cocky because things have gone relatively well compared to many other countries. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it does backfire or not. But I mean,
I hope not.
All the same restrictions are still in place. I think it's just how strict people are being themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when it was first really locking down, I don't know about you, but if I was on the street and I saw someone coming towards me, I'd like cross the other side of the street. I'd avoid eye contact. Like somehow, if you didn't make eye contact with them, you wouldn't get corona from them.
If corona sees you, it gets you.
Yeah. It's I'm like going Sandra Bullock Bird Box style, just wandering the street.
You know what they say about coronavirus? A moment on the eyes, a lifetime on the thighs. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, they do.
Does it infect your thighs?
It infects your thighs, yeah.
Wow.
COVID-19 on the thighs. Oh, Yeah, it's no good at all. It really hurts your bikini body.
Oh, well,
No,
and that's my biggest asset.
you work on your beach bod all year round.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
wasted in the winter.
Well, summer bods are made in winter. Thank you very much. And
Good
summer
point.
bods are maintained in summer. So you have to just be on the clock all the time and never have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, if I ever see anyone who's hot, I'm like, geez, you live a boring life.
You boring bastard.
You boring bastard. Have a bit of fun.
Yeah, come on. Enjoy it. Like enjoy your life like us uggos.
Beach bod, more like boring bod.
Yeah, the less healthy looking, the more I'm like, yep, you're doing it right.
Nerdlinger. Check out this nerd's pecs. They're huge. You're working on your podcasts throughout as well. You've got to be one of the hardest working men in showbiz, I'd say. And I know there's a lot of hardworking people, but you are a bit of a freak. You work a full-time job that is beyond full-time hours. And then you also do a podcast where you have to read a full novel every 2 weeks, which blows my mind. I'm lucky to read one every, 6 months. Audible and Audible books have helped me read a bit faster because I'm listening.
They're getting in there.
Because they keep the pace up.
What are you doing when you're listening to your audiobooks?
I'm nearly always in bed, so it's sort of nighttime reading.
Do you
It's
pass
so good. Yeah, I normally set the timer for an hour, and usually I don't get to that far through. I've been slowly plodding my way through Leonard Cohen's autobiography, and I keep going. I'm reading over the same chapters as well, going back to the starter chapters. I realized that last night that I'd heard the whole chapter. It was a 50-minute chapter, and I knew it. I was starting to mouth along the words to it, but
sing along, everyone now.
Singing if you know the words. But it's a great chapter. It was when he was in New York City, when he was in his early 30s, meeting Andy Warhol and that whole crew, Lou Reed, and hanging out with all Nico and all them.
And was he a musician yet? Because I remember you were telling me recently that he only transitioned from a poet or writer late-ish.
So this is around that time. So he's starting to write songs for a few different artists, and then it sounds like he's almost trying to build up the confidence to do it himself. But he's definitely making moves.
You're cool enough to hang out with like the Velvet Underground and Andy Warhol, and he's still like, am I cool enough to be a musician? I don't know.
Oh no, it's interesting because it sounds like the way he remembers it, he's like, yeah, they didn't really have any interest in me. And then there's quotes from all the key members like going, oh, Leonard, he was the coolest. Yeah, we loved having him around. And they're like, this book that he wrote, it was amazing. He didn't seem to think much of it, but we loved it. So yeah. Yeah, it's funny when you hear of like the coolest people of all time and they're like, have low self-esteem. Like, what do you have to do?
How?
Yeah.
No. How do you actually think you're cool?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's how they get that way. They become cool because they don't think they are.
Right,
unlike us,
right, okay.
We think we're cool.
I know, which makes us uncool. Damn it!
What a shitty loophole.
I know.
We obviously are cool. That's why we think we're cool. It's like the word cool in itself, you know how words just like rule yourself out of what you're trying to be? I think even saying I'm cool is not something a cool person would say.
Well, let me just tell you how cool I know I am, because about 5 years ago I was hosting a trivia night for a group of, it was like year 7 girls, 13-year-old girls, and they're on a father-daughter camp, a bonding camp, and they brought in trivia night for the Saturday night activity. So there was a mixture of kids, questions for the kids, like Justin Bieber stuff, and then questions for the dads, which is mostly footy questions. So it was just like alternating. And I just said out loud, I remember saying, yeah, hand in your sheets, that'd be sweet. And a dad who was 50 yells out, sweet. Do people still say that? I was like, oh no. Am I?
If it was one of the girls,
I'm uncool.
Yeah. I'll take that from one of the teenagers. But from you, Dad, people say that. That's him trying to be cool to the kids.
Yeah, it's so cool.
He's gone and shanked the biggest alpha dog he's seen in the prison yard, and that's you. So I'd take that as a compliment.
Well, I thought that was the least cool thing that could happen that night. But then at the end of the night, you put on some music, whilst you're marking the sheets, and I put on stuff like One Direction and Justin Bieber. That was huge at the time. And then some dad's like, "Oh, play an older song." So I put on the Clash, "Rock the Casbah." This one dad jumps up, starts dancing, and he's just yelling, "Best song of the '80s! Best song of the '80s!" It was so weird.
Well, it's a great choice. You knew your crowd.
It's a great song. It really
It
is a great song.
Sharif don't like it. I learned a lot of words listening to that song. Like Sharif.
You learn English from the Clash.
Yeah, the Clash helped me. Mick Jones, he taught me some great words.
Love him.
I had this idea when that video went viral for all the wrong reasons, and Gal Gadot or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was just for some reason they just didn't quite nail it. It was rich people singing about, hey, imagine there's no possessions and they're in their mansions.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't see the irony of this? And they were sort of doing the Mariah Carey level changes and all that, and just staring down the barrel of their iPhone. So, but I thought it'd be real fun if I could be bothered, would be to get a bunch of people to do The Globe or Rush or one of the big Audio Dynamite songs, and just everyone sing it real sincerely down the barrel. Rush for a change of atmosphere. And then I looked up, I learnt the lyrics. I've sung to that for a long time, and not at all anywhere near the lyrics. Mainly because I was singing gibberish. Rush for the change of atmosphere, but it's
atmosphere.
Rush for a change of anyway. Good anecdote and well worth bringing up.
But I'm a big Mick Jones fan. Everyone's always pushing. Joe Strummer is obviously the coolest member of the Clash to like. But Mick, out of the main singers, Mick Jones is all his songs. I love him.
Yeah, he sang the pop hits, really, didn't he?
Yeah, and I really like him.
Was he Train in Vain? And
boom, 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 boom. And Lost in the Supermarket. Love that song. Stay Free from their second album. One of my favorites. Oh, love it. But probably my favorite
Should I
song,
Stay or Should I Go as well?
Yeah. But probably my favorite Clash song is actually sung by Paul Simonon, the bass player, Guns of Brixton. So there you go.
That's a great tune.
In the works.
Yeah, I love a band that has just multiple songwriters and singers, and just everyone's like a super talent. And you go, that's obvious why this band became huge, because they just were oozing talent. Yeah. Cold Chisel, another great example.
But speaking of everyone writing songs, Topper, the drummer, actually wrote the piano riff for Rock the Casbah. But then he wrote the song, sort of showed it to them, but then he got kicked out of the band, I believe, for like rampant drug use at the time. And I remember he said like one of his low points was hearing that song be like a top 10 hit worldwide and hearing his song, but he wasn't even in the band anymore. Like that's crushing.
That is crushing. Hopefully in time he could look back and say, I'm glad that I had a hit song. I mean, he would have been on the liner notes and everything at least.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have got the credit for it. Yeah.
Similar to Dave Mustaine, he wrote or co-wrote a bunch of the early Metallica songs and then got booted before they recorded any of them. And then, so the first album has his name credited a few times. But yeah, he sounds like, well, the last time I heard him talk about it was a while ago on the Metallica doco, probably 10 years ago.
He's pretty bitter about it.
He was still battling with it. Like, and it's like, oh man, you're in the second biggest ever thrash band.
Yeah, well,
maybe
which
third
band's his
biggest.
One?
Megadeth.
Right, so he's had extreme success. Yeah. Extreme.
Exactly. And he, instead of being a, kind of like the third banana in Metallica, he became the main man in Megadeth.
Yeah.
But I think this isn't a coincidence. I might be wrong, but I think I've heard this, that he chose the name even Megadeth, so it'll be just ahead of Metallica in the record stores alphabetically. So it's like everything about it's a little bit, it's a bummer. Do you ever wish you could just be stoked that you're having a great career? But yeah, anyway. May he rest in peace. He's still alive, but
but
a matter
may
of time.
His anger rest in peace.
Yeah. So you're still doing book cheat as well? You're still smashing through the reading?
Probably not as much as I probably need to. So yeah, because the idea is I read something every couple of weeks. I've given myself a slight break accidentally because you and I actually recorded one of the most recent episodes on Things Fall Apart by Nigerian author Chinua Achebe. But I was going to do it in one episode, but then just due to timing and technical stuff, we only recorded the first half. So, mate, I've got an extra 2 weeks than I usually do.
Oh, that's great.
Should be doing like War and Peace or.
It was amazing how much got stuck, like how much you worked into the first half of that book, though. It felt like that was 2 books worth of stuff, worth of plot and storyline. It was a huge roller coaster of emotions.
And we haven't recorded the final part yet, so
I'm
you don't
looking
know
forward
how
to some
it's
closure.
end.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping it's all happy. It's a big happy ending.
I don't want to steer you one way or the other.
Okay, but the show's still going well. It's been a runaway success.
I'm having a good time doing it. I think some people are liking it, and it is keeping me honest with my news resolution that I broke many, many times, which was to read more, and now I actually am. So this is at least doing that. Yeah.
So for people who don't know, just briefly, the show is that you read a classic novel and then surmise it to a couple of guests, normally comedians, and it's just a fun way to hear a full book. You basically feel like you've read it at the end, but you've just listened to some people muck around for an hour or two.
Yeah, for sure. So this is trying to make it like slightly more accessible because, I do stuff like Dickens and Jane Austen and stuff like that. And there's plenty of people that love that. And obviously they're classics for a reason. A lot of the time they are fantastic works of literature. But at the same time, a lot of people don't have time to read them and they might never get around to it. So I figured, and I did want to read them. So this forces me to do that. And then at the same time, other people can go, that's what that's about.
Yeah.
And it really helps with understanding Simpsons references.
Right. Oh, so there's a lot of, there's Simpsons references in everything, right? Yeah. Bunch of nerds wrote for The Simpsons is what you're saying.
Big nerds, but man,
probably real hot bods.
Oh, so hot. It's the biggest pecs you've ever seen.
Conan O'Brien's got a real hot bod.
Oh, he's a huge man.
Yeah. So you do Book Cheat. You do Go On With Me, which is obviously a creative triumph, and one of the highlights of your week. But
highlights of the world's week.
The other big thing you do at the project, I've known you much longer than you've been doing this job, but you've been doing this job for 3 or 4 years, and I still don't understand what it is. Any chance you can explain it to me?
All right. So I am a.
I know you do the Friday Funnies.
I do the Friday Funnies every day.
Right. Well, that's where I get confused. Why do you call it the Friday Funnies if you do it every day? I'd give it a different name.
It's just a name. It's like, for a while the show was called the 7 p.m. Project, and then it moved to 6:30, so they had to drop that. It's just like that, but we haven't dropped Friday Funnies.
It was called the 7 p.m. Project. I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, because it was a half-hour show when it launched. But so basically my job is my job title is Funnies Producer. Can you believe that? That is genuinely the title.
So funny.
Not Friday Funnies, just Funnies Producer. So okay. I go through lots of what's happening in the news every day and watch a lot of raw videotapes, and I watch political press conferences and sporting games and stuff like that. And I try and find funny things that are happening in the news cycle, stuff that we can make fun of or, get a gag out of. And then, so I spend a few hours collating stuff. Then we go to a pitch meeting where we pitch our material, and then the host of the day picks their favorite bits. And then it's my job to edit and produce and publish all the different little bits and write the throws, that kind of stuff. And then they rehearse them, and then hopefully it's still funny. And then they put them out, and hopefully, again, it is still funny for people at home.
Oh, that's great. So if people are watching, it's normally when Peter Hellier throws to a clip. That would be your work?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So if he's throwing to like our Prime Minister said something very funny today, let's take a look, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I saw one the other day that maybe he retweeted or something, but it was, what was it? It was a teacher singing a song where it was like a long build up and then she just screamed. Was that you? Was that your work?
Yes, I think that was a Sunday Funny, which I was not involved in.
Oh, the one of the few times I thought, I've seen a bit of Dave's work here.
There we go.
That's
Because
Sunday Funny.
there's a lot. we're doing a lot more because sometimes we play stuff that's being viral online as well, and then we're doing more of that lately because the news has been slightly more grim with world events at the moment.
There's
So
not
to
as
bring a
many
bit of
soccer players falling over in a funny way.
yes, well, there's just way less people being filmed, and if you have less stuff to look at, there's just less chance of something funny happening. Totally.
So it's more likely to just be people's webcams. And I think I saw one time there was an AFL footballer, Toby Green, plays for the Giants. He was playing video games, and he must have been streaming it on Twitch or something. And his mum walked into the room and told him off or something. So that was getting around. I watch the news. I don't often watch the evening news. I watch it on Channel 9 tonight, and yeah, they're padding. They are absolutely padding. There was a promo for a podcast on there.
Part of the news.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of what the news has become a little bit anyway. But yeah, it was funny to check. I don't watch a heap of TV anymore. Like probably like a lot of people don't. They stream more on Netflix and other places like that. You know, watching your Poirots and your X-Files, which is basically all I've been watching this lockdown
let's
period.
Talk about that. So, X-Files, Poirot, two of my favorite things. So, the X-Files, what made you decide to jump into the fantastic series that is?
Well, I think it was... I know you've recommended it to me a bunch of times, and I started watching it briefly a couple of years ago, and then it just lost my way with it for some reason. But I was on SBS On Demand because a few people have recommended this show, an Aussie miniseries from the 90s called Blue Murder. And I looked at it, and the episodes were 2 hours long, and I was just looking to watch something before bed. And then X-Files was on there as well. So X-Files is all on in Australia. It's all free to stream on the SBS.
Oh, right. And it's all like from the beginning.
The whole way through, yeah. So there's 200 episodes or something on there.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm just working my way through. I think I'm 15, 16 episodes into it so far. I don't love every episode. Some of them feel like they were, flimsy ideas. But in general, I love the idea. It's not that far off Poirot. There's a mystery is set up at the start of the episode, and then a couple of geniuses try to figure it out. In Poirot, it's a genius and a kind of dopey sidekick, which is either Hastings or someone else he's picked up at the resort or wherever he is. He always seems to have a bumbling sidekick who loves to talk everything out. Bit of a fun device that they can use.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, the voice of the idiot. Can we have the voice of the idiot here? Hastings he helped me out in an episode I watched recently. He said, towards the end of the episode, he said something like, hang on, but why was the Jewel of the West still there? And Poirot's like, there never was a Jewel of the West. I'm like, oh, obviously, yeah. So it was so handy to have Hastings there. I relate way more to Hastings than I do to Poirot, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I love Hastings is funny, and then often, Poirot's talking it out, or at the end, Poirot's like, "Oh, it finally all makes sense," and they're like, "What? What is it? What is it?" He's like, "I'll let you know in due time."
Yeah. Damn it! Just tell us. I'll let you know at the end of the hour.
Yeah. We got a pad.
There was an episode I saw recently as well where Hastings, his car. In the chase getting the murderer, his car was smashed, and he was absolutely distraught. They'd found the murderer, they're taking him away, and Hastings was inconsolable. And someone asked him how it all went down. He said, "Well, the whole front end's going to have to be replaced." That is funny. That's funny stuff. He thought he was being asked about the car.
Oh, he's great. And with the X-Files, so there's two types of episodes, which are the mythology episodes, which are the long overarching story about often alien-based stuff. And then there's also monster...
His sibling was taken away?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And there's also monster of the week episodes, which are like, there's a werewolf haunting Jersey, or there's a man that can start fires.
That episode was on recently. Yeah, I've watched both of those this week. And the Jersey Devil one was... I found that pretty... That felt like it was just padding for time. It ended up being some people lived in the forest, Yeah. All right, cool. And there was a chase scene that went for 20 minutes. A lot of it was walking. You know, I was like, all right, they didn't have an idea this week. That's fine. Why not just have a week off? Do you have to put us through it?
No. They have to come up with 22 ideas every year.
There was some great characters. I love every episode has one-off characters that are amazing, and that episode did have this great local park ranger. It was fantastic. So he made the episode worth it. Mustachioed man. Everyone has a mustache in this show as well, pretty much. I love.
I can't remember if it's season 1 or not. There's a young Jack Black. Have you seen that one yet?
Not yet. I love Jack Black. You seen that video
it's great.
he put out recently? I've been sharing it around a bit where he's sort of warning people about getting trapped in their phone. Oh, all I'm doing is scrolling on my Instagram. And then sort of these hard jump cuts and like his voice slows down and stuff. He's like, no, stop it. And then he throws his phone in the pool behind him. And he goes, and someone off screen, he goes, don't worry, it's waterproof. And then you can hear them say water resistant. He said, what is that different? And they're like, yeah. And then he like freezes and dives into the pool after it. It's very good stuff. I mean, you're laughing at me retelling it. So how good is that video?
I can imagine.
He's so funny.
You and I both like listening to the Conan podcast, Conan O'Brien's podcast.
Yeah.
Needs a friend. And on the Jack Black episode, which was great because I love Jack Black so much, but he's very earnestly talking about how he's addicted to a golf game on his mobile phone.
So, yeah, mobile phone golf game.
He's actually, he sounds fully hooked on it.
Yeah. It sounded like he was doing a bit, and then you're like, oh no, he's into it. He sounds like
really likes this
lingo. That's good fun. Well, we probably should wrap it up, Dave. These are only meant to be pretty brief chats. It's been a real pleasure.
Hold on, let me finish this. Come on.
Okay. Chug.
I'm the worst. I've got a weird esophagus. I'm the worst chugger in the world. I can't scull anything. Okay. No, hold on.
Sip. Woo-hoo-hoo. Feel that vitamin C hit?
Oh, too much. I've got an overload.
I love that. That is a tradition of showing that you've finished sculling the drink. You scull it.
Oh, yeah.
And then put the drink on your head. But I've noticed that most people do it with the bottom of the glass up. When I was, where I grew up, you do it the other way around to prove that it was empty.
No, that's true. To be honest, I just didn't want to...
So that people...
I thought about it. I just didn't want to put orange juice on my head.
It's the dumb thing. It's way smarter to do it like that. I've noticed a lot of people do that. But no matter how much you've finished the drink, there's still going to be drips.
Oh, there's always dregs. Oh.
That was a really nice beer anyway, the Prancy Pony. Yeah, it's a cool brewery just outside of Adelaide. I went there on one of my off days for Adelaide Fringe maybe a couple of years ago. And the couple who run it are just a power couple. But the head brewer, he has the best mustache I've ever seen. It's like, it's this big. Yeah. I'll put a photo of it here if I do any editing on this at all. There he is. Look at him. Look at that thing, Dave.
Whoa. That's mind-blowing.
It is a big mustaka. I don't often call a mustache a mustaka, but in this case, that's a mustaka.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I've definitely seen it too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. I'll put links to your great Book Cheap podcast in the show notes.
Thank you.
Can look into that. Honestly, one of my favorite podcasts. I'd probably even put it ahead of Conan, which I also am a big fan of.
Oh, that's a big compliment because I know how much you like that show. So thank you.
Yeah. They're the two of the podcasts I never miss. And there's been no commuting for me recently. And I'm doing the audio books. So I'm really only listening to a couple of pods a week these days. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining us, David. How do you rate that orange juice? Being the first episode, I don't really know how this finishes.
Okay. What are we rating it out of? Is it a score or what's the...
Yeah, what do you feel? What it can be out of whatever you think. How quenched are you? 1 to quenched.
I'm pretty quenched.
Yeah.
Like, if fully quenched was 100, I'm probably at 70.
Right.
70% quenched.
70% quenched is great. And you've got a bit of a sugar kick. Orange juice, when I was younger and I used to drink a lot more, I'd get, like now I drink, I don't get blotto very often, although that's not 100% true, but I don't do it very often. But I used to do
that's
it
true. No, yeah.
pretty regularly. I used to get too drunk, and those nights I would always dream of sculling orange juice. I'd be sculling it, but I'd never be able to quench my thirst. I'd be sculling and sculling. And that's obviously my body going, you're missing some key vitamins and some liquid. You're dehydrated. And it's giving me this not so subtle message, but I never picked it up. I surely eventually you're dreaming, it becomes lucid where you go, oh, I'm drunk, asleep. I need to go get a drink, but I never cracked that code, unfortunately. I'd say I'm quite quenched as well with the Piper, the little David Warneke Piper. Although it is
beautiful beer.
It's a biggish beer, 7.2%. So it's not really a thirst quenching kind of beer. It's more of a nice heart warmer, little sipper. But yeah, lovely beer. I've been having just trying a couple of different beers I've never had before. Every few days, 3 or 4 days, I'll have 3 or 4 different beers from the local bottle shop, and I've been in flavor country, to be honest, Dave.
I'm so happy to hear it.
It's been great. I've been loving it. It's been one of the fun little. But I'm worried that I post every beer I drink, I post a photo of basically on social media, and I looked at it recently. I'm like, oh, every photo is me drinking beer, so it must look like I'm just non-stop drinking. No one's gotten in touch with me asking if I'm okay, so maybe no one's too worried, but yeah, it's probably not the best look.
I've seen you drink other things, including water and a Dare Ice coffee.
Dare Ice Coffee, one of the major sponsors of the St Kilda Football Club, so I'm definitely very loyal to them. Oh yeah, big time. Milk was a good choice in this case.
Always a good choice.
Always.
If it's a Dare Ice Coffee, it's a good choice.
Only Dare.
Yeah.
Oh, if any drink companies, feel free to send your product in, and I will drink them on this show.
Oh, fantastic!
If you send it with a bundle of cash.
All right.
Anyway, that is the end of whatever this was. It's been real fun. Genuinely, always a nice time chatting to you, David Warneke.
You too, and great to have a chatty with Maddie. Can I just say, I'm pushing for that.
Okay, chatty with Maddie. And if anyone's got a better idea, put it in the comments. But so far, that's possibly what the show's called. You've actually made me. I think Matt chat all of a sudden sounds real good.
And that was my aim.
It never did before. Anyway, thanks so much, David. We'll catch you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Laters.
MattStewartComedy.com